150,000.
Talking loud in the nighttime air. Voices clash, we get out of care. Opinions flare like they matter so. But who's right, we'll never know. Microphones like weapons drawn. Swagger in the twilight dawn. Each word iron, each thought steel. To be heard is the final deal. Howling offense in the midnight haze. Everybody's offended, each one sways. We're offended, you're offended, that's the way. Claim the night with the things we say. Truths clash like broken dreams. Voice to voice, let it scream. What's real in this foggy light? Bow hard till the morning light. Feel the hunger of the crowd. Anxious to erupt so loud. Discord side. Witness as their worlds collide. Howling offense in the midnight haze. Everybody's offended, each one's rage. We're offended, you're offended, that's the way. Claim the night with the things we say. Truths clash like broken dreams. Raise your voice, let it scream. What's real in this foggy light? Battle hard till the morning light. Feel the hunger of the crowd. Anxious to erupt so loud. Unity in discord's tide. Witness as their worlds collide. Howling offense in the midnight haze. Everybody's offended, each one's rage. We're offended, you're offended, that's the way. Claim the night with the things we say. We say. We say. We say. We say.
My mother is twitting my fucking temples!
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to We're Offended, You're Offended. It is a fantastic Saturday afternoon, and we got a lot lined up today. Returning with us is Chris, and you know what? I guess we'll go over a quick couple of things. So we're going to be going over with regards to the trans shooter out of Tumbler Ridge, BC. This person was apparently talking with OpenAI, that little AI chat bot thing that was playing out scenarios, and staff knew about this, and higher ups told them not to get involved. So that's an interesting question there. Also, we'll be touching on this is again, I guess BC is just the hot button issue right now. A school trustee was fined $750,000 by our Feels Bad Commission, the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal, for his views on LGBTQ individuals. So that's going to be absolutely interesting to see that and much, much more. But before we do, Chris, who the hell are you?
I am a proud American that has no problems being offensive when it comes to matters that count, and also a longtime friend of these two, although in a completely different context. And you can do it now. I'm a what? I'm a nerd.
Okay. Oh, yes, nerd.
That
Sorry.
too. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I was expecting you to, when I said that, you were like, nerd. You know, well, See, folks, this thing, if you haven't figured it out yet, Tyler does that same thing to me like 10 times every stream that I'm on. So we're
Eventually,
getting
it's just
used to
gonna,
it now.
yeah. Eventually, it's just not going to be nothing. You know what? Maybe we should touch on the Star Trek stuff because you're our resident nerd, like
Oh,
Star Trek
yeah.
nerd.
Oh, you're gonna pretend that you're not a nerd also.
Not no. These are geeks. These are geeks. Like Star Trek
Okay.
stuff. That's all geek stuff.
Okay.
So
I guess
there's a
that
difference
works.
between geeks and nerds. But
Sure. Yeah, sure.
and of course,
You can, Kim. I think Kim's with me. She's like shaking her head, like, yeah, okay.
I don't watch that nerd shit.
Yeah, bullshit. You watch
It's
Star
too
Wars, Lord of the
geeky.
Rings?
Lord of the Rings, yes, but
You're a geek.
not Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Kim.
Are you?
Am I allowed to speak now? Hi.
Yes. I
chance.
mean, you can. I was surprised you didn't jump in earlier. Like,
How could I? He stole my intro.
shame on
Sorry.
you. Shame on you, Tyler.
Sorry. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
Hi.
We love you, Kim.
Hi.
We love
Yeah,
you, Kim.
You got anything to say?
Oh, I'm sure she's got lots to say.
How can we dance when our earth is turning?
They don't produce anything. They don't do anything.
How do we sleep when our beds are burning? How can we dance when our earth is turning?
All right, let's get right into this one. This is blowing up all over the place, so we will waste no time. So this is from the Post Millennial. OpenAI staff warned to Canadian cops about trans shooter months ago. Tech giant said no. So the headline is a little weird how they describe it, but a new bombshell report from the Wall Street Journal has revealed that employees at OpenAI flagged the ChatGPT writings and queries of the Canadian trans shooter Jesse. I don't know why you guys are still doing this. This guy's name has been Jesse Strang for years. He never went by this Van Root Sealer. Never did. That is his father's name. Never went by that. Fuck, get your shit right. Oh, I'm already swearing. The employees wanted to alert Canadian authorities, but management said no. Per the Wall Street Journal, while using ChatGPT late last June, Strang, Libby, what are you doing? Described scenarios involving gun violence over the course of several days, according to people familiar with the matter. OpenAI leaders decided against reaching out to authorities. The company reached out to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police after the massacre, and a spokesperson said they are supporting the ongoing investigation. OpenAI, whatever spokesperson, said, our thoughts are with everyone affected by the Tumbler Ridge tragedy, and they didn't meet the criteria for reporting to law enforcement, which would have required that a constituted holy shit, English, constituted a credible and imminent risk of serious physical harm to others. Of course, on February 10th, Strang, Libby, fix your shit, killed his mother, Mother Jennifer, and his young brother. He then proceeded to Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, where he massacred a teacher and 5 students before turning his firearm on himself. So I kind of want to clear up one thing, and this is why I hate the media and I hate everything these people stand for. They were making reports that, oh, actually, the RCMP were heroes because they steered the gunfire away from the potential victims and did like a woo, 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 you can't hit me. Like, no one did that. Shut the hell up. You fucking hate you people.
Well,
I wanted to ask the question.
Yeah.
1, privacy on these types of things isn't what people think it is. 2, do these companies have an obligation to respond to things like this?
Okay. So as regards to, I don't know about the rest of the world, but as regards to the United States, the United States has laws in place where companies are required, like YouTube or social media, they are actually required to notify the FBI
Okay, bye.
for potential. What?
Kim's
Kim
back.
had to go somewhere?
Don't worry about it. She'll come back.
Yeah, he you have to. And it was something that wasn't there before 9/11.
So yeah, and that creates so
Uh-huh.
like you see a lot of these ads that are talking about like, oh, we have enhanced privacy for communication and all this type of stuff. But people are using this isn't the first instant that this has happened. This is like there's been
No.
several instances where people have used AI chatbots in order to play out scenarios, or there's now lawsuits. I believe OpenAI is being sued because someone killed themselves because of talking to these chatbots.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would suggest, like in certain circumstances, when administered by um, an actual certified therapist, I think that it AI bots like that can serve a very constructive sounding board for people to vent, but it needs to be monitored. It needs to be monitored.
Right. Well, and I
Because
wonder if
yeah,
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
because as a tech nerd, I can tell you, and as somebody who has dealt with anxiety and depression in my own life, um, I can tell you that there have been times in my life, like recently, where I've needed uh, people to talk to about things because shit just hit the fan. Pardon my
Right.
French. And before David, I had really nobody, and it ended in suicidal ideation and even a couple of attempts. So it is necessary, but again, it needs to be monitored so that if somebody is about to jump off the deep end in some way, it can be caught and intervention can be.
Right,
And
but it is weird because people are assuming that these chatbots, and you're seeing like these things are tools. They are
they are
capable of,
tools.
yeah, like they're capable of scraping a lot of information, but it's almost like you have to know what you're looking for, and using like the chatbot or using, Grok or whatever as like a, okay, here's a stepping stone. This is my initial search, scrape a bunch of information. Now I can start looking. But
Yeah,
because
yeah.
AI doesn't have like a moral framework, like a grounding that it's
No,
really
it
looking
doesn't.
from.
It
Right.
doesn't
So it
at all.
creates like this
It ha-
weird,
the
like,
the the
ugh.
moral. Yeah, no. I've talked to people. I've done some research into AI, and like you can see it. It's heavily monitored. The Google version of OpenAI is heavily monitored by Google for what people do with it.
I don't know if you want to be up. I know I pulled you up, Kim, but I was
But
just
the
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay.
however, the your background's not there, Kim.
No, it's showing.
What do you mean? What do you see?
Oh, are you? Oh, I see a. Oh, you switched backgrounds. You're in a bar now.
I did. I needed a drink after everything, you know.
So, I've done to continue with the whole AI thing. I've never really been big in programming, but I've paid attention to it, and it involves a whole string of uh, advanced heuristics, like algorithms that are adaptive, that allow, based off of programming and testing, for the model to accumulate data and therefore learn based off of what it accumulates. So if you spend 2 or 3 hours talking to an AI bot that's not pre-programmed, eventually it will learn what you want it to be, and you can lose yourself in that.
Well, did you see that video? There was a dude that's like was talking to a chat bot, and like he was married and he's talking to this chick, telling her he kept referring to it as her, his like fantasies and his dreams and all this stuff. And eventually the bots run out of data storage and it reset, and he went into like this big depression and trying to like leave his wife, like in real life wife, IRL for you nerds. So like this type of stuff, and I was just looking it up, just preliminary search, 11 people have committed suicide with links to AI chatbots.
And that's where the danger really does lie. Just to use YouTube and Facebook and MySpace for perfect examples, Twitter.
God, did you just say MySpace? Holy
yeah. We're
That's
that
not
old.
even a thing
We're that
anymore.
old. We're
Yeah, but
that
that's not
old.
a thing
Yeah.
anymore.
No, it's not a thing, but there are people out there that will remember it.
MySpace
God,
is still a thing, but it's more
1998. 1998 was when MySpace was launched. Holy shit.
yeah, and I think it's still
Yeah,
up.
we were. I don't know about you guys, but I was like 16 when I didn't even know about
think I was,
MySpace
like,
until I was a senior in
12?
high school.
12 or so, yeah. 10. Yeah, 10 or 12.
Well, 1998. You were 12 in 98.
I was 10.
You were 10 in that. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Go Kim.
Well, so
Yeah.
here's an interesting thing that I'm seeing as well. So OpenAI estimates that over 1 million or over a million users per week show explicit indicators of potential suicidal planning
Suicidal
or
ideation.
intent.
And this is on what?
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is on OpenAI. A
Well,
million a week.
And that's just and bear in mind that is just one AI company.
Well, exactly.
Just one. There's
So-
a couple of dozen minimum that we know of. Just so people can know that. But back to my analogy. So the internet launched early 90s. But technology still was basically changing every 6 years at that point. It was really being upgraded every 6 years. By 1998, it was every 3 years. And then it stayed there until 2005 or 6, and then it started being 18 months. Today, the technology is changing at a rate of once every 2, maybe 3 months. New technology is updating. And so with Facebook and all those, when they launched, there were no guidelines. There were no guidelines on any of that because it was a new technology and, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, this, that, the other. And there really should have been guidelines, much like there were guidelines with nuclear technology immediately following its release. Like there were guidelines right off the bat.
Kim, are you frozen again?
I don't think so. I don't
No,
even.
you
Your
are.
face is not
Mhm.
your screen is frozen.
Yeah.
It's neat.
So what
I
did
haven't
you
hear you, but I
What-
can't see you.
Yeah, what did you want to say, Kim?
Ugh. Well, no. Okay, so I was just trying to understand because earlier before I had to restart, it's Starlink. Sorry. Let's upgrade that internet. It's Starlink. It should be the top of the top. Come on, Elon, get your shit together. So he was obviously talking to this chat, talking about potentially doing a shooting, or just
Yes.
sounded depressed. Like, what was it? Because I kept
Running-
cutting out.
Running through.
Yeah, he was running
running through
scenarios.
scenarios. And
Okay.
and it's not. To be honest with you, it's no different uh, than I'm from that generation uh, where I watched two um, school shootings in the United States, mass school shootings inside a year. All right. We're talking, of course, Columbine is one of them, and then of course I'm from Oregon, so Thurston was the one before that. Um, and if you look in the aftermath, they found journals and reams of different. Uh, Sorry, folks, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties, um, but reams and reams of different. This is what they wanted to do, and then it would tweak slightly.
Mm-hmm.
But that was over the course of over a year.
Well, yeah.
And
Now
it
think of
cases like
having.
this because AI, okay, now it's speed of light, seconds.
Well, it'd be like you're having a conversation with
Yeah,
a real
with a
person
person. Yeah.
that has that ability to scrape all that information that you kind of, because there are workarounds, like they do have safety measures in place on these chatbots, but it's not hard to get around them. You add in like a couple additional prompts,
Tyler.
and it completely breaks.
Tyler,
What happened?
check your window.
No,
get it.
I literally, I have nothing. Like it's a sunny day out, so I know yesterday it was kind of bad just because of like the cloud cover. It was a little spotty, but I have nothing.
Did you guys just switch carriers? Is that what
No.
happened?
No, we've used X for a while now, but
No,
Starlink.
I'm talking about
Starlink.
internet carrier.
We've been
Yeah.
using Starlink for a hot
or
minute now.
Starlink, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay. So I've shut everything down. You don't have anything going. Perfect. So hopefully everything will be good now. I don't know what the child is doing. So,
Take his legs.
so as I was trying to say, so you had asked a question before I had to restart the first time, which was, do you think that there should have been, like, someone should have said something at this point? Like, is it the responsibility, or should it be the responsibility, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there again, I obviously don't know the legalities of it from a Canadian standpoint. I know that in the United States, Twitter, Google, all of those kind of providers, Microsoft, they are required by law to report any suspicious ideations and such like. Yes, I see that, Tyler, to the authorities, to the FBI.
It froze me.
AI is a whole new ball game. These bots have just been showing up within the last 2 or 3 years since the pandemic.
And it's that you bring that up, and I wonder if because of COVID, people are like developmentally stunted. They don't know how to talk, and they're learning how to talk through like these weird ass bots.
Well, I think people have gotten used to, at least in the United States. I don't know how child services laws are in Canada, but in the United States, it's gotten to a point where you can't even smack your kid on the hand when they touch something that they're not supposed to touch without possibly getting visited by Child Protective Services, potentially having child abuse. So the game has changed a lot with the ability to, okay, we're having the means to actually know you're going to turn that off and you're going to go outside, because only like 5% of people, even our age, know how to set timers on computers and consoles and stuff. Because I mean, you can do that if you know how to set it. Like your kids going to playing their video games, right? You can set a timer on the console or on the TV for it to shut down, and they have to go and do something else. So kids in particular are sitting there with all this technology. And I know from personal experience, I'm ASD. I get caught up in it. Like, I know it's not real, but I get caught up in it. It
Well,
can
there's
be.
tons of it.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
there's way more.
Okay. Y'all are getting muted. Holy shit tits. I've literally been trying to say a single freaking point for the last 10 minutes and y'all keep cutting me
So-
off. So
then
you are
jump
muted.
in.
You are muted. I have been trying. Oh my God. My point here
Well,
is if that was the
to be
question
fair.
that was asked, is if there should be some sort of responsibility on some sort of AI thing or the network or whatever it is when people are feeding these type of things into it. My personal opinion is yes. If you're feeding certain scenarios into a AI chat box talking about either some sort of homicidal thing, some sort of suicidal things, people, this should be a monitored thing. There should be certain trigger words and somebody should be notified, whether you're sending the freaking crisis unit to their place or you're notifying the authorities, whatever it may be. Like, I forgot my other point because y'all would shut up.
Well, you have to
All right, you
jump
can
in
speak now.
because
I've
we
been trying.
like literally I can't see, like, you're all pixelated, so I don't know
Your
if you're
face is
like,
pixelated. Just kidding.
well, and
Now
I
you can speak.
well, thank you for that privilege, but I think because like
Y'all
just
are
sharing
awesome.
a
Y'all
thought,
are awesome. I'm sorry.
like just having a thought, is that a criminal? Like, is that criminal in its own?
No, but it should be. It should be a red flag.
Yes, and I would assume that homeboy, whatever his name is, probably
not-
fed it in there
yeah.
multiple times. It probably wasn't just a one-off. I mean, and that's the thing, is it should be red flagged. I can guarantee you I have been red flagged with the shit that I Google search because I'm into true crime. I'm pretty sure the FBI has got me on some sort of watch list because they're like, this person needs to be looked out for. And I'm okay with that. However, there should be, like, if this is a habitual behavior and stuff that just kind of keeps all of a sudden happening, and there's this trigger word, that trigger word, da 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 all over the place, yeah, somebody should be paying attention to this. This could have been avoided if that was the case. And there are so many things that people put into these AI things that is literally giving people so much information. It's scary.
See, I
Yeah.
don't know about that. I don't know about
Well,
like
You
just
can literally use them
like
for
having a
anything.
thought.
Yeah, no, you can use them for. Kim's got a very valid point. You can use AI for anything. It's not regulated at all. There's no legalities to it at all. There's no accountability to it at all.
I'm not saying that if I was feeding into AI, how could I kill somebody and dispose of the body? You know, one-off thing, whatever. I'm not saying that the FBI should come bang down my door, but I'm saying that there
no.
should be something kind of like this is a little bit of a trigger, a red flag.
I see a slippery. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. But I see a
Well, no,
slippery
I
slope.
was I was just gonna say one of the ways that we in the United States have learned to handle it, because obviously we have a bigger issue with gun violence than any other nation on earth.
I think it's just because you're bigger, to be completely
What? Yeah,
fair.
but
We
but
literally live in Winnipeg, which is the murder capital of Canada.
Of North America.
Well,
Yeah.
and not just not when I say gun violence, I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking about the kind of incident that, like, we had Vegas. We had something like I don't. I'd have to look at the statistics for it, but there were
What
a
in
lot of
Vegas?
The shooter, the Las Vegas shooter.
There were over
Is this
70
another
people
new
that
one, or
were
is this
injured or
old?
killed. Old.
Mm.
Pulse.
Okay.
Those are just examples. It happens way more frequently in the United States than it does in any other country on earth.
But there's
And-
a couple things with that, because most of those happen in gun-free zones. There's a lot of skewed statistics with that type of stuff. And
There
so
are.
like it conflates Like, oh, the United States had 2,000 mass or gun shooting incidents, and it's like, yeah, but you don't
how many
include
of them
gang
were on that
violence.
level?
Well,
How many of them?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. One of the reasons it exploded was one, when we were kids, games like Call of Duty, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, were, I don't know about, but most of the parents that I knew would not allow their kids to play it until they were like 16. Games were, shooter games, unless
Mhm.
it was like Mario or Duck Hunt or something like that, because that's obviously fake. Um,
Is it though? I mean, those ducks look pretty darn real.
yeah.
I was
Uh,
traumatized.
but when it's been since the 80s, the mid 80s, where I think it was since Reagan left office, the presidents of the United States uh, between then and now have severely cut mental health care funding in the United States.
Which
Like,
is funny because it's out there more than it was like when I was younger. Like when I was younger, this was more unheard of. My
it was.
family found out, like suffered from depression. Well, I'm crazy. There's something wrong with me. You know what I mean? Like, and now it's everybody is a walking mental illness. And I'm not saying that it's like in some situations, I think it's literally just like, oh, pay attention to me. I'm so special. But in other circumstances, I think that there just is a lot more
Yeah.
mental illness that's out there now,
Or that we're aware of.
especially after COVID. COVID
Yeah.
fucked everybody. I'm just
Oh
gonna
yeah.
say.
No, isolation on that
Mhm.
level will absolutely do that. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a proven fact. It's been that way for years. But at the same time, just in the last 20 years, for example, I have ASD, which is formerly was Asperger's, and when we were kids, Asperger's wasn't even hardly known at all. We barely knew anything about autism, and now we have an understanding that there's a scale to the autistic spectrum, and there's a there's a scale to people with cerebral palsy, which I have also.
Well,
Uh,
and I think that sorry, I think the autistic um spectrum is so wide. Like I think and I think they've widened it too much to the point where, oh, you don't like change, you don't like being interrupted, you're on the spectrum. You know what I mean? Like it's just like little things like that. You're
Like
muted.
weird. No, I
Oh.
wasn't saying anything. But like weird oppositional defiance, or like it's all
Oh
these
god, yeah.
weird things. Like, oh, you have a problem with someone telling you what to do? You must be on the spectrum. You're not a good little worker slave.
Yeah.
It's like all this weird stuff to give you a condition that never existed, doesn't exist. Like it's so.
Well,
I
maybe
mean, all
it,
right.
it does exist in some sort of aspect, but it's maybe more of an extreme. But like that oppositional defiance disorder, we were told that with our oldest. Like, oh, he probably has this. Da, 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 da. Nah, he's just being a shit. Just doesn't want to listen. Like let's not add to his letters that he's got going on here. Like like he's a kid, doesn't want to freaking listen.
Well, exactly. A kid that wants to go and out and do crap, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what this is really going to mean for like AIs. Like, is this, I'll kind of put it in this type of framework. I think it's something like 50,000 people a year in North America give. Sorry, JTS.
Yeah. You like that shit? I made it. I made it.
But I think so like with Teslas, with self-driving vehicles came out. It's you'd see an issue, like you'd see a collision or something would happen, and it'd be like out of the thousands or potential hundreds of thousands of miles that these vehicles drove, it's like one incident happened. So it's almost like a weird, like it's like a percentage bias, I guess, because it's not supposed to happen. So AI is supposed to have these guardrails and all this type of stuff. And this one incident happens, it becomes a big issue. You know what I mean? Like one incident, let's say, how many interactions does Chat GPT have, let's say, a day? Like
Probably more
one
than you
user
thought.
interacting with it. Yeah, like it's probably on a scale we couldn't even fathom. Like maybe 100 million, 200 million people are communicating with this thing in the world, if not more. I think a conservative number, someone communicating with a chatbot, I wouldn't be surprised if the number was 1 billion people daily interact with this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I talk with Jamal all the time, but it's silly random things here and there. But the thing is, it's so much. I'm not gonna lie, it's so much easier. I was with my supervisor and coworker the other day, and we were trying to figure out how much a certain amount of inches is. And instead of pulling out the calculator and figuring it out or Googling it, I'm like, hey, Google, how many feet is 72 inches?
Also,
Just
how
waiting to hear that response.
many inches is Tyler's dick?
I don't know if it would give me that one. Hold on. Hey, Google. Hey, Google.
Are you really going to do
How many inches is Tyler's dick? Oh. It's like, what? Hi, Google. How many inches is Tyler's dick?
What does it say?
It's telling me to check my internet. To be continued. I'll ask that again in a second.
All right.
I don't think that needs to be blasted all over social media, y'all.
It's
wait.
literally, I'm curious to hear what Jamal has to say.
So is that what you call it, Jamal?
Yeah. Oh, she's muted.
Again with the damn technology.
I know. Like,
What the hell?
this is why women, you guys.
Oh,
Did I freeze or
no.
something?
Oh no, you did not. This is
okay.
why with women, really, Tyler. She knows where you sleep.
That's like, it's nothing I've ever not heard. He was literally like bitching at the TV today when he was going to go have a shower about this girl who was talking about if it comes from the earth, that let it be, or something like that.
Oh, it's
Talk about like a weed. If it's natural, let it be. Yeah. And he was just like, oh yeah, what about arsenic? What about this? What about that? And he's like going on and on. He's like, stupid white liberal women. Right? And then he comes over and gives me a kiss. And I was like, I am offended. And I was like, but you're not wrong. Like, they say the dumbest things. They really
Tyler,
do.
You're an idiot.
women piss me off.
But no, on what we had been talking about, if we're still on the AI, I definitely think that, and it's one of the big worries about a lot of tech companies.
Here are the physical stats for a few notable people with that name. Tyler Dick, college baseball.
Baseball is 6 foot 2 inches. Wow.
Oh my God, Kim, that was like, it was you couldn't have timed that any better.
Thank you.
Wow.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
6 foot 2. Wow.
Woo!
I'm surprised I'm still alive.
Okay, so on that note, that's one of the big concerns. AI is regulation. How the hell? Because there hasn't been any regulation really on YouTube and Facebook and Google and any of those things, right? There's been some plenty of more regulation and guidelines for search engines like Google, because that developed a little bit more slowly. And but I mean, the way that AI is developing, it's developing faster than we can regulate. That's one of the big problems.
Yeah.
Elon said flat out that we need to get in front of this, and every politician's like, "What the what? What's a Facebook?" Like, did you ever see like when Zuckerberg was getting questioned in whatever in your people's Senate hearings, and like they have no idea what these people are talking. Like, they can't even grasp the concept. Hell, even me talking with like my MLAs or my MPs, they have no clue about
Right.
this stuff. Like, literally zero clue. But so I want to shift gears a little bit into
one thing, because I found this interesting. It was
Sure.
Did you break?
No, I'm looking something up real quick.
However you did.
What? I did. Well, while you're looking that up, I was going to bring up too, really quickly.
Yeah.
Before we switch topics, I was talking with our middle kid the other day, and I guess he was asking AI, like, about humans are needed in the world and stuff like that. And basically, AI was telling him that AI would keep people around that they needed to keep the program going, and for whatever resources that they may need. But as soon as humans became unnecessary, once AI got smart enough to be able to fix itself, take care of itself, whatever, then humans wouldn't be needed anymore. And
that's one of the big worries.
that they would eradicate humans. And I was like, oh my God. That's so scary.
That sounds like the Terminator, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you find your thing yet?
Yeah, one second.
Let me see if I can read through your glasses, you nerd.
Yeah. Well, while we're waiting, feed the plant.
Feed me Seymour. Feed me all night long.
That's what I'm saying.
So anyway, the governor of Maryland had a town hall recently, and was quoted saying, well, the gist of it was he's for a proactive government, where instead of, we know like these roads need to be fixed, well, let's create a committee or a study, and a 10-year study to figure out how we're going to do that. He's like, if we know we need to do it now, let's do it now. I'm all for that. And he's a Democrat. He's like, no, one of the biggest problems he has with his own party is the constant need to form a freaking committee.
Well, yeah, they have to line the pockets of their buddies to give each other a bunch of money, and then the thought that they'll actually do something. Like, they'll do something eventually once they think of what they need to do.
He has one of the biggest. I just did research on him. I'm impressed.
Biggest dicks?
He has one. No. The Maryland's governor.
Bigger than 6'2".
I'm impressed with the fact that he's like, I'm not for the Democratic Party. I'm for the people in my state, and I'm about getting shit done, not putting things in committee, even though I'm a Democrat. So he's been asked many times if he would run for president of the United States, and he's like, oh, I'm happy with. Why would I? I'm happy with what I'm doing right now. I'm doing exactly what I want to do, which is work for the people in my state.
Based.
So good for him.
It's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah,
I want to shift into this. So this is from the Winnipeg Free Press. Oh man, they did the thing. All right. So from the Winnipeg Free Press, so a BC tribunal orders former school trustee to pay $750,000 over anti-LGBTQ vitriol. So the BC Human Rights Tribunal has ordered a former Chilliwack, BC school trustee to pay $750,000 to the local Teachers Association. Suck my dick. Finding his conduct during his tenure poisoned the workplaces of the Alphabet Mafia staff members. In a decision dated February 18th, the tribunal found Barry Neufeld violated the province's human rights code with his public campaign against sexual orientation and gender identity resources in school, commonly known as SOGI. BC Teachers Federation and Chilliwack Teachers Association had filed the human rights complaint against Neufeld in 2017 on behalf of their members, specifically those who identified as a bunch of queers, from October 17th to 2022. They sought $750,000 to be distributed equally among those members. All right, we could keep going. Basically, he said things that hurt people's feelings. Now this human rights tribunal is looking at fining this guy. Well, they ruled on it. $750,000 for hurting someone's feelings.
Now, was he saying stuff against the Alphabet Mafia?
Yes. SOGI is like
Oh
the
my God.
thing. So I even have the website here. So sexual orientation and gender identity is targeting children.
Yeah.
This guy's criticism was the LGBTQ people targeting children. No one cares. No one. I'll say this again for you fucking autists in the back, you bunch of fucking creeps. Okay? No one cares if an adult is gay. Literally, no one cares. No one cares if you're a dude and you want to bolt on some titties. Okay? No one cares. Literally, no one. But when you start targeting children, and because we have laws like Bill C-4, Bill C-6, Bill C-9, Bill C-15, which criminalize parents and force any teacher, any healthcare provider to force a child down a path of a 38% suicide rate, that to me is fucking criminal. And what Neufeld is doing here, calling this stuff out just to say, leave the kids alone. And these people go, well, no, we have to groom the kids. I can't fucking stand these people. And they make my blood boil.
I would, and believe it or not, Ellen's kind of been pissed about the same shit lately. Because it's taking it to taking what people like myself have been wanting to an extreme it never should have got to. Like, for me, providing a supportive, non-bullying environment for teenagers, not kids.
I would even draw the line further up than that.
No, teenagers, like high school age that are trying to figure themselves out. I'm not talking about teaching it. All right.
See, I don't know about that. Like, look, I hate to say, look at the slippery slope that we're going down.
That's why we need to be clear on what that looks like. Like, for me, okay, as somebody who was, and I don't, Canada's a different ballgame, but where I grew up, just trying to be, being different, just being different was a recipe for me getting my ass handed to me every day. Right? Because also I was the smallest kid in class. But pushing it on people, oh, you're acting XYZ, you must be. No, that's not okay. But pushing it on, okay, if they are exploring this avenue, that's okay. They can do that. We're not going to push it on them. But they should feel safe enough to explore that.
What the? Oh.
Nice, Kim. I like that.
Well, I have a big problem. So with a teacher, okay? You are a teacher. All your job is supposed to educate, reading, writing, arithmetic, okay? That's it. That's your job. I don't want to hear who you parked on the weekend and what you were doing, who you were having intercourse with. Like, for how long? You didn't even know your teacher's name.
Right.
Like, literally, you didn't know their first name. And when you seen them at, like, the grocery store, it was like, whoa, they exist outside of the school. That's really weird.
It was so weird. Especially if you've seen them with a spouse.
Right.
You're like, dude, they actually have
They're
a wife?
married?
Yeah.
Like,
It's
the
weird.
concept of these people having, like,
But you lived in the counselor's office at school. That's
Yeah.
so weird. Mr.
But-
Warren.
No, I think from my point of view, if I had just had an environment where bullying for any reason was off the table. Like, it didn't matter what
Any
it was
reason?
for. Any reason. Any reason.
Eh, I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
Like, just be like, if you go to school and you have you're a guy and you got your fingernails painted, right? When I was in high school, or even when I was in high school, guys like that got the shit kicked out of them every day.
Based.
All right, that should not be or goth or drama kids.
I identify as an ex-goth kid, 100%.
All right, so in a situation like that, they're expressing themselves the way they want to. They're not hurting anybody else. They should be able to feel safe to be who they are.
But what about sending a child down a path? So because in Canada and the United
different.
States, well,
That is
exactly.
different. That
And
is different. I'm talking about saying if you see somebody being who they are, not hurting somebody, and another kid comes along and just slams them into the locker, or cold cocks them, or tosses them into a dumpster like you saw on Glee, which I just finished. Yeah, I just finished watching.
God, you look so bloody gleeful about it too.
Because I happen to like that show. But that should be stopped right then and there. Violence against a person for being who they are, but at the same time, we don't push it on them.
Okay,
That's
well,
their journey.
That's
their journey to figure out who they are.
But what if, hey, you know what? I like having intercourse with animals. Clip it. Okay.
Ew.
What if? Now what?
Now we talk to them about it and figure out why.
Yeah, but now you're impeding on my true self.
Mm-hmm. Or you're assisting in my opinion, you're doing your job and assisting that kid in figuring out where the line is.
Okay, well, in Canada, once someone starts espousing their LGBTQ whatever alphabet mafia view, you can't stop it. That's the thing.
There are places like that in the United States, but for the vast majority, we're not there yet.
Well, why wait till that point? Like, how many more kids
I
need
know.
to die?
What I'm saying is, as a country, the line is more blurred than it's ever been. I will give you that. But like you go to Boston, there's still that line. There's still a line where we say, no, that's not okay. And we're
you guys have had how many instances? You know, the big one that came out of Loudoun County where a young boy who wore a dress went into a girl's bathroom and SA'd a young girl there. The school hid it, and it wasn't until the parents got involved and this became a national story did this Loudoun County school board finally say something that they hid this because they didn't want to hurt the message of trans people and inclusivity. They hid that information.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would say that support with accountability is very important. I would also say that one of the solutions, if you're not going to allow them to use a bathroom that they identify with, which I'm not even going to get into that, right?
Please don't. We might have to throw some fists. Just kidding.
There's a middle ground. All right. You have churches, you have schools in the United States where they've converted certain bathrooms into intersex or unisex.
Perfect. If you want to throw in a third option there, I'm totally game for that third option, because then whoever goes into that third bathroom,
It
that's
doesn't
on
matter
them.
one way or the other.
Then
And usually that
everybody
unisex
feels
bathroom
safe.
is a single person bathroom. Usually that unisex bathroom is like the family bathroom at a mall. If you guys have ever
Well,
seen
they
those.
weren't single. Well, yeah, we have
Yeah.
them at our mall in Winnipeg, and
Where for family purposes, you go in there like if you're the parent of a really young kid,
Yeah.
instead of like when we were kids, when I was up until I was like 5, it was considered socially okay for my mom to take me, into the girls'
women's
bathroom,
bathroom,
because
of course.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Now it's like, no.
Well, and I think because, like, just with seeing with this level of, like, someone criticizing this, I guarantee you the way the guy that he was talking, that, like, hey, teachers shouldn't be talking to children about sexual stuff, and BC has had
No.
many problems with this type of stuff going on. So, like, I think most of us are coming from a reasonable position of, like, hey, if you're gay, whatever, no one, like, really, literally, no one cares. No one cares if you're a lesbian, yada. No one
Right.
even cares if you're trans. But in fact, I was listening to a discussion yesterday, and this trans person was saying, and, like, so they transitioned to be a man. They were a biological woman. They transitioned to be a man. And there was an interesting perspective that they had given, where they had said, nowadays, people are transing. They're not transitioning. They're just identifying as trans. That's like the social credit thing. That's where
Yeah.
people, the social acceptance is, I'm trans. But that was never the thing. Like, what are you transitioning to? It's like, well, I'm just trans. To what? Like, every trans person, like, says that
It's trans.
I'm a man.
I'm
Like, I am
one
a
or the
man
other.
going through. Yeah. So, but now that's like a weird social identity, and because of the level of ramifications that come along with, like, it's almost like a sorority, like your hazing ritual is like, you got to chop your dick off. Now you're part of the in crowd.
Yeah.
Like, how
Well,
Your face or
I,
whatever,
I,
yeah.
I will I will say that here, again, in the United States, I have known plenty of trans people who
I guess you missed it when I put it up first time. Yeah.
were trans, all right, identified as transition male, and they lived what in that style, but they never actually did the transition because they were not comfortable with the medical ramifications that it would.
I mean, I don't know about you, but
Right.
I wouldn't want to chop my bits off or change my bits and never be able to orgasm again. Just saying. They don't tell you that,
So-
do they? Nope.
Well, there's a whole lot more to it. It can in some cases, it can shorten your lifespan by up to 20 years.
Oh, I know. There was the other day we were I had showed a video. Oh, I think you were on it. Was it the last chill session with that girl who was detransitioning and she got the tumors on her legs? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Her
And
injection
didn't
site.
and it was the decision was made for her.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
one.
that's right.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back before we get too far away from this when we're talking about the whole bullying and stuff like that. So I identify as one of those kids who were bullied all the way through school. Okay.
Amen. Yeah.
So whether it was because of my super skinniness or if it was because I was goth or whatever it might have been. I was
We
always-
we totally would have been the best friends. I can totally tell right
Eh,
now.
maybe I was kind of an asshole. But
Yeah, but I was like 4 foot at 12 years old. Just to give you an example, I was 4'7" and 72 pounds. I was tiny.
you might have lived in my locker. I'm just kidding. Maybe not.
You're cute.
Anyway.
You're my cute pocket friend. You're gonna stay in my locker.
Yeah. I used to tell my art teacher, Mrs. Strain, because she was like 4 foot something, and she had literally hair down to the ground. And I remember telling her once that I was going to put her in my pocket. She was not very happy with me. Anyway, but
See, folks, this is why we love Kim, because she's awesome.
I'm a bitch. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But the thing is that so at the time, was I like, yay, I love being bullied? No. Even in certain jobs, I got bullied and stuff like that too. But the thing is now, honestly, looking back,
It does give you
And-
a little bit more strength, but there are definitely some people, like in my case, I ended up like suicidal. I know where you're going with that.
Okay. Yes, and yes. Okay, yeah. I suffered from depression too. I was there. I was a little crazy. However, but the thing is, seeing how kids are nowadays and what they've turned into, because everybody had to, oh, we can't hurt anybody's fifis, and we can't have Halloween costumes in school anymore because little Pardeep or Becky over here is scared, and it makes them nervous. So we have to make it a safe space for everybody. So no more Halloween costumes. Oh, you say Merry Christmas? No. Little Julie here finds it offensive. It is now just happy holidays. If anything, I'd actually prefer you not say anything at all. Just, you know what I mean? Oh, Valentine's Day cards. Oh, you can't just give it to your best friends. You got to give it to everybody in the class because everybody needs to feel included. Oh, we're doing this race, our little outside stuff today. You finished last. Here's your first place ribbon. Like, come on. It has turned these kids into fucking pussies. They can't do anything. They cry about having to work for 8 hours a day, and they only get like a 15-minute break and their half-hour lunch or whatever it may be. They cry about everything. They can't handle anything. Then they end up freaking out because someone looked at them wrong, grab a gun and go fucking shoot people up because they haven't been able to build that strength. And the thing is, as much as at the time I hated being bullied, I will say, I think whether it is your child, whether it is in school, stuff like that, a little bit of teasing and hardening up the kid is not a bad thing. Now, if you're going to school every day and people are literally shoving your head in toilets and beating you up all the time, that's not okay. That's excessive. That's no. But
that was me. And my mom had a hell of a time with the school district.
That's the thing. Like those types of things, that's excessive. But just someone like, hey, fatty.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. All right. Because people.
Beta.
Anyway, also, what on the topic of bullying, it's a lot different today than it was when we were kids. Because now people.
Good, then don't be a degenerate.
Yeah, because everyone's made them little pussies.
Well, no, not what I was going to say. Yeah, well, yes, but also social media, Twitter and stuff. I had my partner's nephew was temporarily suicidal because, in my opinion, there should be like, if you're not 15 or 16, you shouldn't have an account like that in the first place.
I will 1000% agreed. Our kids were never allowed social media. Like the way that social media bullying has.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
You
that's
can
a
say
whole
whatever
new
you
ballgame.
Want about anybody that you want to, and because it's anonymous, because it's a tag name, it's not even the real name of the person. You don't know who's doing it. Therefore, you can't possibly, stand up to them. You can't do it.
Did you ever hear that story about that? Oh, fuck. I suck with names, FYI. But there was even a documentary on Netflix, The Catfish or something like that, or the whatever. But this girl was literally being catfished.
Yeah.
And told horrible things like she should kill herself and this and that. And her boyfriend's going to cheat on her and like all these horrible things. And it turned out to be her own fucking mother.
Yeah.
That was doing this to her.
Yeah.
Like it's fucked up. Like that's a whole new ball game. And yes, kids should not be on any sort of social media or something like that. Like that's why we kept our kids far the fuck away from that shit. Or if you're going to if you're going to allow your kids to have those accounts, monitor the fuck out of them. Pay attention. Pay attention. It's your job to pay attention anyway. Why not do it all the time and make sure if they're acting a little off, find out why. Because they're not going to come to you with it. It actually makes me really nervous how many people I talk to that they have younger kids, that they just have their phones and they have this and they have that and stuff like that. I'm like, and I'll ask them, do you ever go through their phones and check them? Well, no, that's their private space. You don't go through their phones and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They could be, I've had
got
Oh my
friends in
God.
law enforcement. They could be talking to anyone.
No shit.
Anyone. Anyone.
My kid's gonna be 17 right away, and still every now and then I'm like, hand it over.
Yeah.
Just out of the blue, hand it over. And I'll start
And you
going
know-
through it. Like,
Do you know what? They're going to thank you for it later on because you were keeping them safe. They'll thank you for it.
well, they
even if
will
they're
they will
pissed about
figure it out.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't care. People can be like, oh, you do that shit? Yeah,
Fuck yeah,
Anyway.
that's your job. You're the parent.
right?
It's your job. It's your job to make sure they make it to adulthood safely and have the support in adulthood that they need. That's
Yeah.
your job.
Not sending them off to the fucking rainbow room to go get fucking their dick chopped off. Anyway, okay. Sorry, Tyler. It looks like you're ready to move on to a next topic. And if you are ready to move on to said next topic, this.
Sir, I want some more.
Oh, I realized stop swearing. I mean, it's so funny when you call me out. When I call you out, you're like, F you, blah, 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 blah.
Try to limit it at least a little.
I know. Sorry. When it comes to kids, it's a very sensitive topic for me, clearly.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, let's move on from that shit. What else you got for us? I know I have a couple little things, but
We had the Christianity was the big thing.
oh
but,
yeah, is this the military shit?
What?
Oh no,
No.
we're not talking about the
No.
military yet. Carry on.
No. Well, we can. Okay. You want my opinion on the? Well, whatever. Okay, I'll pull it up.
You
Love
can
you,
do this
Tyler.
one first, and then we can do the military.
It's for.
Careful, Tyler. I see the smoke coming out of your ears.
Well, hold on. I want to play a video then. If we're going to talk about that, there's a little video thing I wanted to play.
Let me see if I can. Okay, well, whatever. I have this from the Globe and Mail. Hopefully, it doesn't try and paywall me. Otherwise, we have problems. So this is from the Globe and Mail. Activate. Immigration programs, new focus on military recruits unlikely to solve shortages. Okay. Ottawa's move to revamp a key immigration program to prioritize foreign military recruits is likely to play just a small role in solving long-standing staffing challenges at the Canadian Armed Forces, according to several defense experts. On Wednesday, Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada announced new categories for selecting immigrants through the Express Entry program, a points-based system that is the main gateway for skilled workers seeking permanent residency. One of the categories targets highly skilled foreign military applicants. Recruits by the Canadian Armed Forces in roles such as military doctors, nurses, and pilots. IRCC did not say how many people intend to offer permanent residency to when draws begin for this category. A consultation expert published by IRCC last September to evaluate the Express Entry program stated that Canada would benefit from having foreign recruits from allied countries to help build its military capacity. Yada, 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 yada. Okay. So basically, what they're looking at doing is what the status quo has been in Canada for decades. The fact that this is suddenly now coming up is laughable. I think this is a giant nothing burger. We have been doing this for years. Now, the question that I have, that even if we were to bring in foreign people to join our military, why is Canada not able to recruit those numbers within our own country? Why are our
Very good
numbers
question.
down? Is
Yeah.
it because of all the wokeism maybe that's infiltrated our military? You know, we ended up pulling our kid. He wanted to become a Air Force pilot, and his commander, he, him, ill. What are your pronouns? Like, no, shut up. No. I
Oh
don't
no,
mean-
they even let him wear like nail polish into the cadets. I was like, what the fuck? It had to be neutral colors. I'm like,
Oh,
well,
God.
that's nice.
Well,
I
as far as the military goes, it's been an interesting issue that the United States has found itself in since 9/11 because we can no longer do the draft. One of the things. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to look up. Stop loss.
The hell is that? Well, but so if we're looking at these numbers, I guess interesting in joining the CAF has increased tremendously in the past 3 years, according to new data from Department of National Defense. In 22 to 23 fiscal year, there were 43, almost 44,000 applicants to the CAF, and in 2020, 24 to 25, that jumped to nearly 78,000. But so I guess okay, like, I don't know. It's just, this has been a thing for many, many years. Waning numbers. People aren't feeling inspired. They aren't looking Canada as something worth defending. And in fact, there have been many studies or polls that have been done that if Canada was attacked, would you sign up to defend it? And there's a very, very large percentage of people that would say no.
Not the way that Canada's been
this
going.
country.
Like, it's like, what are we defending at this point?
Yeah.
And
are we defending trannies so that they could go into little girls' bathrooms? Like, is that what Canada's values are?
No, I think what Canada wants, especially with, there you go. Why would you want to fight for a place that has declared itself post-nationalist? What is one then fighting for? Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that Canada, the leaders who are in charge of Canada right now, starting with Justin Trudeau, and now we got our Mark Carney, I think this is literally what they want our army to look like, is particularly this.
Finally, we are creating a new category for skilled military recruits to attract highly skilled foreign military applicants. Eligible recruits with a job offer from the Canadian Armed Forces, including doctors, nurses, pilots, can be invited to apply for permanent residence. They will be subject to the same security and all military requirements. This new category will support our government's commitment to strengthen our armed forces, to defend our sovereignty, and to keep Canadians safe. This category and other priority categories supports Canada's defense industrial strategy, which Prime Minister Carney announced yesterday, by adding a range of workers critical to support our sovereignty and security.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
will say firstly,
Holy shit.
right? I will say firstly, there's something about that many people, the synchronicity of all of them with their steps, with the way they're looking and everything, is equal parts, gives me chills and is terrifying at the same time. Like, it's absolutely terrifying.
It's China.
I know. And this is exactly where, did you not hear? They're
It's a
literally
bunch of
going to
women.
be, okay, whatever. They're literally going to be giving citizenship, Canadian citizenship, to
Anyone who
immigrants
just
who
says,
are
"Yeah,
coming
yeah,"
over and want
just
to become
deserve it.
part of the army.
Yeah.
They will
Well-
give your citizenship to you.
So the only big concern that I see with regards to this is Canada has had a very big problem. CSIS, our spy agency, has put out report after report that China has infiltrated and is influencing Canada. This is what's happening with regards to Canada in the United States. This is why our trade problems are becoming an actual problem. So there's that. We have autonomous zones that are Chinese controlled. They are seen as sovereign within Canada. We are giving off land to China. So is this the deal that struck? Okay, well, hold on. I'll add a little more. Canada just signed an agreement that Canadians and Chinese can come to each country without a visa. You can just go there now. You don't need a
Are you
visa.
serious?
Yes. So
Nice.
why would you want to live there?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So these are now issues, and the United States has made it very clear that butting up with China is a problem. The United States has been taking notice that Canada is giving foreign intel to nations not aligned within the Five Eyes. Canada is actually being Canada is being the Italy in in the evil.
New Axis.
What are the
Yes,
Five Eyes?
God.
five
So,
intelligence
here's-
agencies that share like surveillance info.
So I mentioned stop loss earlier. This is so military stop loss.
That's what I call it. China, 100%.
Okay, so U.S. stop loss. Stop loss is a U.S. Department of Defense force management policy allowing the military to involuntarily extend service members' active duty beyond their scheduled separation or retirement date, often termed a backdoor draft. All right, instituted since 9/11.
It's a little
Basically stating that if you're scheduled to leave the military, you know, your tour is over, and you're in the process of turning all your equipment in, right up until the last second. If you're like 5 seconds away, they can get a call saying to reinstate you. And based off of the contract that you signed with the military of the United States, they can cancel your discharge.
Right,
That's
which
what
I
that's
think
saying.
is I think is reasonable. Like it sucks. Well, I guess with a volunteer army, but you know, I don't. I have a big problem with our countries.
I'm not saying
No.
that what you're dealing with is something that I would ever want to see in the United States. No, hell no. Fuck no. No.
No,
If that
you
ever
are
happens.
importing foreign fighters. How did JL?
I know that, but
How did
we're doing
Rome
it.
fall? How
we're-
did
we're-
Rome fall?
We're doing it in a totally different way from you guys, and it's been happening since the beginning of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
No, but
And
how
here's
did Rome fall? What did it give citizenship to all the territories that it conquered? Did it actually its own populace was unwilling to fight in war, so it had to pay out mercenaries in order to be part of their, their conscripts and everything? Isn't that how Rome fell?
Yeah, and watch this. Speaking of. The U.S. Armed Forces extensively utilize private military and security companies or mercenaries, often termed contractors,
Mm-hmm.
for logistics, security, and specialized technical support rather than direct combat. That's how they get around it. Heavily employing them in operations like Iraq and Afghanistan, right? And they get away with it because it's they're supposedly trained by private companies here in the United States. Thing is, there's a lot less regulation with them. They're not directly controlled by the commander in chief. They're controlled by the Department of Defense
When they're under
when they're employed.
employment.
Yeah.
What a weird, right? What a weird thing to say. We hire militaries. Like I know it's been a thing for a very long time. Like mercenaries.
They're not
nothing new, but-
actually mercenaries because it's
Yeah,
it's
seen that
company-
it's illegal.
it's
but
companies that are handpicked by the U.S. Department of Defense, and so that it's not overall rejects that would try to overthrow the United States.
Yeah, but how do you know that? Like, honestly, if I was the leader of China
Mhm.
and I wanted to take over Canada,
Mhm.
I'm just saying that
That's
if
one
I
of the
was
wa-
able to strike some sort of deal where my citizens could come over, join their army, and get citizenship, are you freaking kidding me?
Of course
I
you would.
would be all up in that shit, and I would be like,
Because
honestly,
you'd win.
I would be
You'd win.
sending people who
You'd
are
win. If there came a war, you'd win the war without even trying.
well, no kidding. Do you think like these people that you sent there that are working for you in somebody else's military, if it came down to it where they were going to go against China, you think they're going to go against China? No. And they would then in turn, they would be like
Now they've got
almost like
to
it's like
and
sleeping
they're
agents or
and we're
something. Like they're sitting
we're
there, and as soon as China
right.
says go, they turn their
Which
guns on their fellow army mates, and now we're taking over, bitches.
which is one of the reasons why no offense to people in Canada because we love you guys. The people in the United States are super nervous about China
Well, yeah.
because if they get even a single foothold, as technologically advanced as our military is, we don't have the same manpower that. So if they have a foothold on North American soil, we're screwed.
Well, yeah. And that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of Canadians, even people that I'm close with, that don't seem to grasp that. Like, everybody is just so like blinded by this whole TDS thing that anything that Trump says is just BS or lies or this or that. Like, and nobody is actually listening. So when United States is talking about their concerns with Canada butting up with China, they are valid concerns. If roles are reversed and it was the United States butting up with China,
Oh, Canada would be all
I
over
would
that
be
shit.
concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if Canada would be. They'd probably be like, okay, we're coming too. But I would be concerned too.
Right.
Like, that's, you just, come on. There's
Use your heads.
Yeah.
It's basic economics and strategy.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've talked
They-
this much to death.
I'll end this one with the following that if it I'm not going to make any friends with anybody outside the military on this one, but economically and strategically, it would make a whole lot more sense to begin limiting the theaters in which we have our militaries deployed, bring a good chunk of them home, and use them to secure our borders if we're that concerned. That would be the smart thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because regardless of what's going on right now, Canadians, if the worst came to worst, because it would be in our best interests as members of the United States, if shit hit the fan for Canada and you guys called us up to help you, we'd be there.
Okay, you know what I just
And
thought
you know
of?
that? You guys do know that.
Yeah.
Like people in the United States, if Canada said, "Hey, we're in trouble. We need your support," we're there.
I believe it. You know what I just thought of though? With everything that's been going on between Canada and the United States, the blood's boiling and stuff like that. If it ever did come down to a point where
Super stupid.
Canada
by the way, super
was
stupid. I'm
really
sorry.
concerned, or Trump actually said, you know what, we're taking Canada, like enough is enough. We're doing this shit. If they actually did that, I can guarantee you that then in turn, Carney and that would reach out to China. China would come in to help defend us. And then there would be this
Third World War.
China-Canada war happening here. But then
Yeah.
even if they were to protect us from the big bad United States from taking over Canada, who do you think is in our country now and going to take over? Do you think they're just going to be like, all right, guys, high five. We did this. We're going to peace out, go back to China. Nay. They're like, look at all this land. You got more room for all our people.
Look at all those resources that we need that
Uh-huh.
you guys aren't exploiting, and we're going to.
Right?
And you know what? The one thing that I want people to think about in regards to this is Canada and the United States, since Canadian independence and even before that, there were treaties in place, agreements in place that either country would defend the other in time of crisis, in time of invasion. If we had just kept that partnership up and kept an eye on the prize, regardless of national identity, half of the problems we're having right now wouldn't be there.
Well, Canada's made it very clear that we are a post-national state, as JT and even alluded to. And no, the bigger thing is it's one thing to make the comment, it's the reaction to it.
JT, China, as you put it, versus USA, no contest. China has the manpower. China has the manpower. And if China ever got a hold of the U.S. nuclear arsenal, it would be game over for the rest of the world.
Oof. Yeah. That'd be a scary thing. So is there anything else in this particular topic that you wanted to say more, Tyler? Before
I just see it as more or less a big, I see it as just like a big nothing burger. This has been a Canadian policy for well over a decade. No one really gave a crap until, people
somebody shouted spotlight. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this has been known. Like countries have done this. We have given citizenship to people that have served, or whether they joined the military, whether it was through Afghanistan. But the bigger concern is that we are actually seeking, like, it's not supplemental to our military. It is actually, I wouldn't say replacing our military, but giving that priority to people in the military, that if you want to just join Canada and join our military, then we're going to give you citizenship. Right. I have that, and that's more or less how I see it. Now I can go on my feminist rant about why women actually cause all this shit, but I'm not going to. That's an argument for a different day, so we can move on.
It's it is very rare to find a woman that's level-headed enough to handle. I'm not saying incapable, because I firmly believe that there's
just say it.
But very few that could actually keep a level enough head to handle whole battalions of military personnel.
I think women shouldn't vote. All right. So what's this? Is this Starfleet nerdy shit you wanted to talk about?
Well, do we want to touch on this? Because we got about 10 minutes. So
10 minutes.
Oh, we're not going to even get to mine then.
So if you want to, because there was something that you wanted to bring up. So the Starfleet thing, okay, no one likes Star Trek. Star Trek is lame and gay, and South Park meme. There you go. There's the end of the story. Put a chick in it, make it gay.
I'm just gonna say Star Trek has been around for 60 years, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, well, now it's dead.
No,
people want it gone. So I actually think Carney is pushing us to be annexed by the USA while pretending to hate on them for supporters don't catch on. He's a central banker. His wet dream is centralized. Yeah, North America. I could see it. I could very much see it. Liberals will buy any and all propaganda that's thrown to them. So, sure. I could very well see it. It is funny that the whole story with like Fallout is that the United States has to annex Canada because of a war with China.
I love that game, but it's super terrifying at the same time, because we're not far off that particular timeline. Yeah.
It's really weird.
And by the way, if people think that the government doesn't have incredibly large bunkers buried all over the damn place for the ridiculously rich and famous and powerful, you're smoking crack. So, yeah. Anyway,
JT says, yeah, he put his baby Brookfield in the USA. Well, yeah, and it's been very well known. His whole stock portfolio, he basically divested from Canada and put it all into America. Like, well, nice. If you really believed in a place, well, wouldn't you invest in that place? Well, obviously not. So
one would think so.
But yeah. So you wanted to bring up something about Christians are bad,
It
evil
has to do with
monsters.
it has to do a lot with I recently lost my job, and the man that was my boss listens only to Christian radio. All right. So apparently he believes that he himself is a practicing Christian, but he's so super angry. And the way that he treats people is like, yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it because I am one. And I'm hoping it shows in the way that I treat people. Like, I respect people's opinions. I don't care if you disagree with me or not. Neither here nor there. You're entitled to that. I don't judge. Regardless, we're human. We all fuck up. Pardon my French. We all screw up, and so there's a huge hypocrisy because I don't know about Canada, but in the United States, there's churches everywhere, especially where I'm at right now. There's more churches than there are bars, and every Sunday the churches get filled, and then right after church, all the restaurants get filled. It's become kind of rote dot. The problem is there's not a lot of love being shown. They say there's a lot of love being shown. There's not a lot of love when people come into a church to enjoy worship in their own way. Say they're a gay couple. I mentioned this to Kim last night, and they get told, "Well, we don't have a problem with you being here, but you need to be, less obviously gay."
I mean, I think that's kind of based.
It's stupid. It's super stupid because it's not the job of the church to judge or condemn anyone or set. If you look at scripture, people, Jesus
I think it is.
never people no, because if you look at it, all right, if you look throughout scripture, I'm not talking about Old Testament. I'm not talking about anything other than Gospels. If you look at just the way that Jesus treated the people that he was around, the only people that he confronted were the self-righteous.
Jesus confronted a lot of people and called out a lot of
He did. He mostly the self-righteous, the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the people that thought they had all their shit together. And the people that he hung out with the most were the people that knew that they didn't.
well,
I'll give you an example.
I don't
Matthew,
know.
the Gospel of Matthew was written by a tax collector. And a tax collector back then, he called out the secular. Yeah.
Oh,
What
no,
I'm talking about,
Jews did not like Jesus.
no, the Jews in power,
Still don't.
did not like Jesus because he called them on their bullshit. All right. The people that did were like Matthew, one of the apostles. He was a tax collector, like I was saying, and he was considered the lowest of the low because the taxes he was collecting was for the Roman emperor of the time. It wasn't even for the Jewish population. It was for the occupation force, right? And Jesus said, "Come, be with me." Matthew ended up being converted, changed his life, treated people well, and handled all of the finances for Jesus and the disciples. Anything that came in,
Well,
which
I'm
wasn't
trying
much
to.
because they slept outside and on the benefit of other people.
Well, but I'm trying to understand. So, like, if a church now, like, I could give my criticisms and everything with regards to
Please do.
the Christianity. So I'm even just looking at Leviticus 18:22. You shall not lie with a male as a woman is an abomination. If a man lies, and this is also Leviticus 20:13, which is Leviticus is like basically the rules that you should live by. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall be put to death. Their blood is upon them. So I would say it's actually incumbent upon the church. Now, as much as I disagree with scripture and I think it's all woo-woo made up bull crap, but you have a certain standard. So the fact that they're actually enforcing the standard, but I think like people have like this idea that Christians and Jesus was like this weed smoking hippie that's just like, let's
Not
peace,
true.
man.
Nah,
Let's all
yeah.
peace. No, like they were
He was
wicked.
about he was about changing people's lives.
You know, but so
That was his
seeing
whole
this
thing.
stuff. So I think for a church, if they're actually like an orthodox or trying to move back towards orthodoxy, for them saying, "Hey, what you're doing is actually a sin, and you need to stop doing that."
Well,
Like, okay,
here's
fine.
here's the fun part, and I've had this conversation with him a couple of times. When it comes to Christianity, I have a big problem with people who should go there, sit in the pews, listen to the pastor, and don't use their brains, because we have all these different translations of the Bible that you can go and look things up for yourself. And one of the things, this came from a pastor when I was 20, 30 years ago. I was it was my senior pastor. I was like 17 or 18. And he brought up a passage in John. Hang on.
I'm like, did John die? It's just like
He was the no, they all died. He was the only one that died of old age. All right.
John the Baptist. But like, I don't know. I just
There it is. There it is. Okay. So John chapter 15. This is the first one that he brought up as a potential mistranslation, which is easy to do because we're translating from the ancient Latin into English, and that's hard to do. We're translating from basically dead languages into English, and it's I am the vine and the Father is the gardener, right? ESV. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he removes, tosses into the fire. All right.
okay.
And this is the original translations. However, later on, it also says, "Oh wait, if you are if the vine is in me, that's what it's saying. But it does not bear fruit. This would be the King James. It's cut off and cast aside. If the vine is in me but is dead, it's so twice it says cut off and cast aside, where into the fire is basically what
Are
it's
you
saying.
saying the vine is a
Well,
metaphor
from the
for a
standpoint,
penis?
here's another translation for that first part. Those who are weak, right? The weak vine. If you're a vintner, you don't cut it off because it's not dead. You tie it up to a stronger branch so that it may strengthen and bear fruit. And you cut off the ones that are dead and cast them aside. So there's all sorts of, because it's translating an old language into modern English, there are all sorts of places where it very well could be mistranslated. And for example, witchcraft, the actual translation there is a word that also can be called poisoner or necromancer. So basically, evil doers, because that's the evilest of the evil. Satan worship, things like that.
So what was the point of this particular
The
scripture?
point. This was an example for people to use their heads. Just because the person in the pulpit says blah 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 blah, okay, they went to
So
seminary. I tried to go to seminary. They went to seminary, right? But that doesn't mean that they're absolutely right. It's a very the point of Christianity is to know Jesus, and not just know him, about him, but to
Okay,
treat it like a personal relationship.
can I
And
say
when
something?
you, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I'm kind of all over the place when it comes with this one.
Hmm.
So in one aspect, I will say the one thing that you had said that you don't think it is upon the, I guess, the priest to be pushing said things, whether it's, you're too gay or you need to be less gay to be in church or something like that. In that aspect, I'm going to say wrong, because the priest should be putting out the word of God. The word of God is what they're supposed to be teaching everybody, and they're supposed to be following the Bible as it is. Now, I will say, though, I do agree with the fact that we have come a long way. And my whole theory when it comes to the Bible, considering the fact it wasn't even in English when it first began, is that it has been translated so many times that it's like playing telephone. So my theory is that whoever decided to start translating these things, maybe they started putting in things that they wanted to put in, right? Because nobody
Based
else
off
is
of
able
the
to
time,
translate
and that's
it.
true.
So
Yeah.
they're like, not even based off of the time, but I mean, at the time, they could be like, well,
Yeah.
God told me this, but I'm just going to change this little thing here as I translate it here, and then it's going to read here. And things could have been misrepresented or changed through time. I do not think that every word in that Bible is exactly verbatim as it
No.
was when it was first written,
Written down.
whether it is a legitimate thing or just a fiction book. Regardless, I do not think that the words are the same. There might be some of the things that are the same, but I think that there's a lot of changes in there. And I think that, yes, in my head, when I grew up in the Catholic religion, one of my biggest contentions was, I don't understand why, if God and Jesus is all loving and they made you in the eye of God and Jesus, that if somebody is gay, why they wouldn't still love them as a person as long as they're a good
Bingo.
person.
Bingo.
And that's so
Yeah.
the thing is, like, I can understand that kind of aspect of it, but when you're talking about a priest preaching the word of the Bible, he's preaching the word of the Bible and he's doing his teachings. So it's I'm like I said, I'm all over the place with this one.
Exactly. And you just spoke
Tyler,
one of
what are
my
you gonna say
biggest
to me?
points.
No, I'm trying to, so like if the well, I guess the Bible makes it very clear, like if it makes it very clear that, like, okay, I guess Chris, I'll ask you this. Do you think it's okay to murder babies?
No, absolutely not. It's not
Or
okay.
do you believe in the Bible?
Oh yeah.
You believe in it?
Oh, I like this.
So then you accept that killing babies is actually okay.
Okay. You'll have to point that out to me.
I'll see if I can pull up the scripture
See, this is
here.
how like our conversation went the other day. I'm like, fuck, I wish we were podcasting. He's good at this. Like, for literally an atheist guy, he knows a lot about the flipping Bible.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Well, there's I'll see if I can pull it up. So what is it? Exodus? No, God commanded to destroy the Amalekites. God instructed King Saul to utterly destroy the Amalekites, including men, women, infants, and nursing children, as well as their livestock. This is when God spoke to Moses and said, you are to go to war, to kill these people. That's what he said. God says flat out to Moses, go and kill these people. So he says, men, women, infants, and nursing children, as well as their livestock. In fact, Moses ended up getting pissed off because they ended up bringing back little girls as war brides. Now, why would he be pissed off that he brought back infants and little girls.
No, and I understand your point.
Because
And
why?
obedience.
Because God said to go kill all of them, not some of them, not leave the little children. He
Right.
specifically says, go and kill the women. In fact, the exact quote is
And
kill both men and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel
God.
and donkey.
Literally everything. Might as well
Yeah.
add in the freaking bugs in the nature too.
and the reality is, if you do in depth, right, when laid side by side, what you're looking at in the Old Testament is the standard, and the New Testament is God's solution to the fact that we cannot ever measure up. But my point in bringing all of this up was simple, and Kim touched on it. All right. The job of the pastor or the priest or the minister or whoever, the evangelist or whoever is out there talking about to somebody about scripture in church or on the street, in my mind, based off of what I saw from Jesus, is simple: to share what is true in your heart and let the other person then decide. It is not your job to use the word of God as a sledgehammer to anyone, because Jesus never did.
I think in a lot of situations that is correct. I think when it comes to priests, pastors, bishops, whatever, I think it's a little different because they're supposed to be going from the exact word of God and his teachings, and they are supposed to put that out there. Now, the disciples and stuff like that is a different story.
No, the only person who
like
has
what
the authority.
Sorry.
Yes, exactly.
So you said
that's
in the
that-
Old
that-
Testament,
what-
that's the
yeah.
argument. Christians are not to directly follow old, but the new covenant.
And what he's
And then-
talking about there is the golden rule, where Jesus was asked, which of these laws, which of the 10 commandments, which of the commandments is actually over 600
Well-
individual commandments, which are most important? Love thy neighbor as thyself, and love God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength. Upon these two are hung all. Okay, and
So
that's to say, if you love God with everything you got, you're not going to want to disappoint him. It could be
but then you have to live by God's rules, and if the Bible is the word of God,
but
so
at the same time, accepting that you're not going to be, if we were going to be able to do it perfectly, the attitude,
shouldn't you?
I'm not, no, living it.
You shouldn't live as God describes.
Living, I'm talking about condemning people.
Well, but God and Jesus and all those people did that all the time.
I do not come into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through me should be saved.
Well, we could go a lot deeper with a lot of that stuff, but okay. So if we're talking about the Old Testament, Old Covenants, and yada yada, the King James version talks about the exact same stuff. Like, it's just modernized. Like, that's it. I'm looking. So I just looked up Bible verses that talked about infanticide. This is from King James Bible Online. So take that as you will. Psalms 137. Happy shall he be that taketh and dash thy little ones against the stones. 1 Samuel 15:3. Now go and smite Alamech and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. Exodus 12:29.
Okay.
And it comes to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on the throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon. Isaiah 13:16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives vanished.
Okay,
I can keep going. I can keep going.
I know you can. I know you can. But here's my question: pick one of those, and actually go to the chapter and read everything that goes before it, and everything that comes after.
Let's see. What
Because
about
you can
Exodus?
one of the biggest problems that people run into when it comes to Christianity is taking a simple verse, one single verse, and not reading the whole context of the passage to justify just about anything.
So Exodus, that's when the Israelites are leaving Egypt, correct?
Mm.
But if this is supposed to be the tolerant, accepting, loving God, so it begins with listing the names of sons of Israel who migrated to Egypt, with Jacob noting that several people descended from him entered Egypt with
Mhm.
Joseph already there. After Joseph and his generation died, a new pharaoh arose.
Okay,
And Joseph, yada,
the
yada, yada.
passage that you were talking about, read what comes before it. Why was the command given?
Excuse me. Let's see. Just give me the. Okay, let's see. Let's go to like 15. Okay, so here we go. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Pua. I don't know. And he said, so the king of Egypt, and he said, when ye do not office a midwife to the Hebrew women and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him, but if it's a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared God and did not, as the king of Egypt, command them, but save the men and children. So that's in Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
So now these are the names of children of Israel. Okay. So that's that one. That's the I guess Exodus is, I don't know. Oh boy.
You have to
So we have to,
anytime that you this is always my challenge to anybody who just goes verse one verse. You have to look. And I'm guilty of the same thing because John 3:16, the one thing that that always keeps me is what I quoted there.
right, but so the initial one that I had talked about of Moses, or God commanding Moses and his armies to go to that Amalek or whatever,
Mhm.
to kill all of his enemies. Well, where's the compassion in the little children? So Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now, therefore, hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel. How did he wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt? Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all they have, as we discussed, and spare them not, but slay both women, men and women, infant and suckling, oxen, sheep, camel, and ass. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Talim, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judea. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid waste to the valley. And Saul said unto the Canaanites, go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For ye shewed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of Amalekites, alive and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. So he's talking about that they ended up basically taking the king and slaughtering a fuck ton of little kids.
So here's the paradox is, and it is a paradox. It's not everybody talks about its conflict or whatever, that the contradiction. It's not, it's a paradox. It's an example to be given throughout history that whoever hurts the people of Almighty God, like the children of Almighty God, like me, because I count myself among them. He doesn't want it to happen, but if you hurt him, if you hurt them, that was the
So
idea.
there's a couple scriptures that I'm vague on the memory of it.
Mhm.
But why would you want to kill a child, an infant, when they didn't do anything? They don't even know the difference between right and wrong.
True, but there's
So
by modern standard, and even the standard then, eventually they're going to remember, or they're going to learn of it, and then they're going to come after you.
so you're actually making a justification for infanticide? Then I don't know. I don't know if you want to make that argument, brother.
What the heck is that? Infanticide? What is that?
Killing children,
Killing the
babies.
killing of a baby.
Ew.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if you
So-
want to make that argument that eventually they're gonna grow up and they'll have some like
No,
repressed
not
memory.
that.
So,
That
like,
is it. That is not mine. That is a strategic justification at that time. All right.
yeah,
That is
but if
the way. That is the way the culture worked then.
so,
Right.
okay.
Now-
Oh man, I don't know if you want to go down this path, but
But I
you can.
this was my point. Okay, you said that Jesus condemned. So this is
that
my
they didn't.
this is right. You
That
said
they didn't kill all of them.
no. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about context, right? Always take scripture in context. Try and figure out the why. It's why I tell people use your brains. Don't take my word for it. Regardless of whether I'm a pastor or not, don't take my word for it. Do your research. So John 3:16, everybody knows what that is. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. All right. But if you go to the next verse, it says, for God sent not his son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. Verse 18, he that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already. All right.
So, I guess
The idea there being simple, right? That Jesus came to provide the solution because obviously, as human beings, we make mistakes constantly. And that is the definition of a sin. We make mistakes constantly, right? We do things constantly that hurt us and other people. And that is the definition of what sin is, right?
well,
If you want to get down to
so
the grassroots. So
I-
Jesus came to provide that solution. If not for that I'm going based off of what I'm just read there. All right.
I know, but if you're asking like people need to use their brains, okay, then I guess so. I guess I'll ask: Can God make mistakes? Can God have his mind changed?
No, because God is spirit,
God can't have his mind changed.
as far as I'm aware. He's not. He specifically said, "I don't change."
So
And
then why? So then why would God specifically change his mind? I'll see if I could find the scripture.
When it has to do with the flood,
No.
didn't he change his mind at that point too, saying that he would never do that again?
No, was it maybe it was it Sodom and Gomorrah or
Maybe.
I'm trying to
if you
think
can
now.
find one, he gave the condition as a way out, knowing ahead of time that it wouldn't happen. And here's the reason for that. The only way that a person or a being can be omniscient, omnipresent, and all powerful and all knowing, right, is if time has no meaning for them.
Wait, for who?
in this case, God Almighty, time means nothing because it's a created construct.
Okay, so looking at with regards to Exodus, so the Lord relented and did not bring his people to the disaster he had threatened, and the Lord relented from the disaster that he had spoken of bringing on his people. And the Lord repented of the evil which he thought to do unto people. So God changed his mind with taking with regards to Egypt. He changed his mind. So if God is all knowing, then he cannot have his mind changed. There are many instances where God decides not to do something. So he can't be all knowing.
In regard to Israel, he made a promise to Abraham that he would multiply.
Abraham.
All right.
Well, the Lord changed his mind. It says expressly in Exodus 32:14. So the Lord changed his mind and did not destroy the people he said he might. He changed his mind. So for someone to be all-knowing, then by changing your mind, being convinced of doing something else, then you are not all-knowing.
Right. Okay.
So that ends up falling down a total different rabbit hole, and I know we don't have the time for it. We do have company coming over, but
my point is, if you're going to call yourself by his name, that name being Jesus, if you're going to be a Christian, then just know that hatred, condemnation, judgment doesn't enter into it.
But Jesus and the apostles did that all the time.
No, Jesus did.
Well,
Jesus
but they okay, here's another contradiction. Who or
is it a contradiction or a paradox?
It's a contradiction. So
okay.
Who is it that Jesus said that no one has gone to heaven or who has ascended before me? Who was he talking to, or who was he talking about?
He's talking about himself. No one has seen the Father except.
But there was one person that went before him, and I'll see if I can pull it up. No, there was someone else that ascended.
Okay, you're probably looking at the Gospel of Nicodemus.
Let's see. I'll take a quick look. Enoch and Elijah are the two individuals in the Bible as being taken to heaven. No, I don't think that's that.
Yeah, that would be Moishi.
Is it so? Enoch walked faithfully with God. Blah blah blah. Elijah, no.
Yes, Elijah was carried up in a chariot of fire.
Separate two. Then Elijah went up to heaven with a whirlwind. But there was someone where Jesus says that no one has entered heaven before me, and then so I can't remember. Maybe it was Elijah. Maybe I'm just misremembering the name. But someone else did before him.
This is the reason why.
Why would he go up in a chariot of fire if he's going up to heaven? You think
because it's a rocket? They're talking about aliens. They're talking about aliens. It was an alien.
Yeah, now it's getting good. Yes,
that's why a chariot of fire. That's why, because it was actually aliens. But
yes, JT, very good point there. There was no redemption from evil without Jesus.
But killing children, in fact, there's then an argument. An argument could be made that it's actually justifiable to kill your children because they have not been able to commit evil. Therefore, they go straight to heaven. So it's actually, if that is to be taken to its like logical conclusion, if you want to save humanity and send them all up to heaven, you gotta kill the children. That's how kind of ridiculous.
No,
forked up.
It's 3:15.
It's funny. The one time I actually feel weird of swearing is when we're talking about.
But no, religion. My point is that the one command that we're given to love each other as I have loved you, so love one another. And he loved it. He loved the people that he was with so much, and everybody else on earth so much, that he was willing to die voluntarily in our place. The other command that he gave, I just read, that judge not. I didn't read that one. So it's Matthew 7:3-1-3. Judge not, that ye not be judged, for with whatever judgment you judge, it shall be judged back to you. With whatever measure you judge, it will be measured to you again. And then he talks about hypocrisy, and why do you judge somebody, basically, when you have the same problem?
Yeah, but I'm perfect.
Well, and that's the point.
Jeez.
The Father, the only one who has the power
Speaking of, sorry, there was a
to judge is Jesus, and that only because it's given to him by God the Father.
Sorry, Kim, what were you gonna say?
there's I don't know if this comment was shown at all before we started getting into the other thing, but
Yeah,
JT had mentioned
yeah.
earlier to be gay is considered a sin, but all people are considered sinners at the same time. Therefore, who truly are Christians to judge?
Exactly my
Good
point.
point. It's very good.
Exactly.
Uh,
because
Yeah.
because the one thing, honestly, the reason that we're able to have this conversation without getting mean or hateful or anything toward one or judgmental toward is because we have love for each other. The three of us, we're friends. We have love for each other.
That's gay.
We have no, it's not. It's actually a good thing. We have love for each other. We have respect for each other. We respect each other's opinions. All right. We get each other to talk. And that is the fundamental thing that Jesus is asking us to have one for another. If you claim him, but you have hatred to the people around you, you're not really his.
Yeah, but
And
what
you've
kind of
missed
love
the
is telling
message.
people to go kill babies? I don't know. That doesn't seem like a loving kind of thing.
All right. I hate to cut this off as fast as we do, but we got to get the hell out of here. So,
What are you guys doing?
People,
What are you
we
doing?
got people coming over, and I got a dog that wants to eat people, so we got to get her away
So,
before they walk in this house. I have
So,
a
yeah.
hellhound,
All right.
so
Kim, do your spiel and let's get the hell out of here.
This has been a
Will do.
fantastic way to spend a Saturday, guys. I love it.
agreed. All right. So thank you to everybody who decided to click on the little button and come sit with us and listen to the craziness going on in the world this week and
our
today.
opinions.
Yes. If you are new here, please hit the little subscribe button, share, like, all that fun little jazz. If you like Tyler's shirt that he's wearing that I made, please give a little thumbs up. Leave it in the comment. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, we got it back too. Yeah, we're offended. You're offended. What?
Megan say, I love it too. Oh my God, that's perfect.
We are live every Monday and Wednesday, 8 p.m. Every Saturday, 1 p.m. Central. Love you, JT. Mwah. Be kind to one another. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.
Oh, he likes
Yeah.
me. JT likes me. Oh.
Oh boy. We
Oh,
out.
no, I'm in trouble now. Bye.